Change is one of the most difficult things that we face, but change is inevitable. One reason we don't like change is we get comfortable where we are. We get used to our friends, our job, the place we live, and even if it's not perfect, we accept it because it's familiar. And what happens is because we're not willing to change, we get stuck in what God used to do instead of moving forward into what God is about to do.
Welcome to Breaking Anonymity. My name is Kinder Kuffmeyer, and this is my co-host Dustin Sabosi.
What's up?
We are here today with a good friend of ours, a buddy that we've known for quite some time. I'm going to let himself introduce himself. So, take it away.
James Gunn.
Well, James, it's nice to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
So, James, I know this is kind of breaking anonymity here, but, you've been my sponsor for a long time, so I got to, credit you with a lot of where I'm at, and, it's an awesome pleasure to have you on the show, man. So,
Definitely.
Let's just get to know a little bit about you. How about maybe starting with your childhood and how you kind of worked into your drug use?
Let's see. I grew up in Kansas City, Kansas. My mother had 4 kids. We was poor. She never worked. We stayed in low housing income. I know drug infested, gang infested. Getting picked on a lot in school. Wasn't many white kids, that stayed in low housing income. I lived in low housing income till I was about 14, 15 years old. Finally got a job, got out on my own. Had a lot of stepdads in and out of my life. Been around a lot of personalities. Growing up was tough. Seen several buddies. Well, seen 2 buddies get shot by the time I was 15. Seen a lady get killed. Me and my wife seen a lady get killed off 14th and Pacific in Kansas City, Kansas. Sitting on the front porch, me and my wife, my cousin and his wife, heard a van pull up, hit the brakes, squealed the tires, and heard a gunshot, the door slam, and it sped off. Well, we seen something laying in the road down there, so we go down there, and the lady was laying on her stomach. Well, I rolled her over. And when I rolled her over, she looked up and smiled and closed her eyes, and that was it. You can kind of feel her spirit leave her body. Wow. But the crazy thing is, she had a hole here, but in her back was blew out.
She smiled before she
Wow.
Yeah, she smiled, and then she took her last breath, and that was it.
Did you ever find out what it was all about? Or?
She was a prostitute.
Oh, wow.
I guess she owed him some drug money.
Wow.
The cops came. They wanted us to go to court. We never did. Down there you just don't testify.
Right.
You just mind your own business.
Right.
A good buddy in middle school, Danny Sport, was sitting on his mom's front porch, and some guys came around from the corner, and cocked the 12 gauge, and we got up and ran and shot him in the back of his leg, and his whole left leg is deformed. You can see his bone.
Oh, wow.
And
is he still alive?
He's still alive, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was just kind of how life was down there.
What age was this?
I was probably 15 when my buddy got shot, and then I might have been 16 when I seen that lady get shot. Might have been 17. But we had our own, me and my wife, she wasn't my wife then, but she is now. We had our own place then.
Hey, we're talking to the microphone, but you said you was about 16 whenever you seen that lady get shot?
About 17, yeah.
Wow, 17.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty crazy, man.
So at this point, were you using drugs yet, or?
I was drinking.
Okay.
The first time I ever drank, I was with my brother and sister's dad. We went fishing, and bunch of adults thought it would be funny to get a little kid drunk, and I was pretty plastered, man.
Wow.
Sky was spinning, threw up, but weird thing is a couple of days later, I started craving that alcohol.
Yeah.
Right
And,
from the get-go. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, it was something about it. Forget that it made me sick, made me lightheaded. I threw up. None of that mattered. Just something about that taste. And it teaches us, it tells us in the big book something about the allergic reaction to alcohol, and I got it as soon as I tasted it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was off to the races, man.
So it started with alcohol,
Just a second.
and it progressed quickly, or?
No, actually, it started with alcohol for a few years, and then I don't know, hanging around my cousin, skipped school one day, and I always said I'm not gonna smoke weed, when I drink. I got sloppy drunk with my brother and sister's dad when I was 13, and I think I might have been 15, going on 16, somewhere around there, and we were skipping school, and he told me to try this, I would like it, and him and the girl he skipped school with had the giggles, laughing and stuff. I figured, why not, and I hit that joint, man. I felt like I was on cloud nine. I loved it.
Game over from there, huh?
I found my best friend,
Yeah.
and if I had just said no, I might not be here right now.
Right.
Yeah,
All the crap that I've been through.
Yeah,
you know.
one thing I know that we all three of us, we go to schools and speak and everything, and one thing we preach to the kids is, ignorance is bliss.
Absolutely.
If you never feel it, you're never gonna miss it. You're never gonna. It's not gonna be there. The cravings, none of it. But as soon as all it takes is that one time.
Well, it's better to wonder what if than it is to know that bliss and and have that craving for it. I mean.
And I just want to be clear, it starts off as a bliss, then it just becomes something completely different.
Absolutely.
That's with all drugs, But so you went from, alcohol. So, I mean, for you, alcohol was your gateway, and then you went to marijuana, and then what did...
It's a demon wrapped in white satin.
Oh yeah, easily, man. I think the next thing I did was PCP.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, it's crazy because, like, my whole story, this stuff is just normal down there, man. You know,
Right.
I mean, that's as a young kid, basically in the ghetto. Because that's what the ghetto is, low housing income. Where the poor people live. And it don't discriminate, man.
Yeah.
You can be white, black, Chinese, Mexican.
Right.
If you don't have money, you don't have money.
Right.
If your parents don't work, they don't work, you don't have nothing,
Right.
and lived off the government, man, and not like most kids where I want to be a fireman, a policeman, an astronaut. Maybe for a minute I want to be a sports player. Kids in the neighborhood always got together and basically played football, basketball, and the white kid in the neighborhood don't get picked very much, so... But that's okay, man. I made some good friends while I was there, man.
Yeah.
But it was pretty tough, dude. I wouldn't change it for nothing in the world.
Right.
Like I said, the guys I started hanging around with started doing PCP.
Wow.
And by then I was already selling weed. Ended up basically going to Indian Springs Mall one day, coming back home, had a bag of clothes, had a 49ers jacket on, and I don't know, maybe about 7 blocks from home, a guy came up and said, give me your chain and your necklace and your clothes.
Wow.
And, being young and thought we was fucking tough, my cousin said, F you. And shot my cousin twice in the shin and shot me once in the stomach.
So you were shot by a shotgun?
No, I was shot by a .32 automatic.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And we found out what it was because they picked the bullet fragments out of my cousin's leg.
Wow.
Spent 13 days in ICU. Pierced 3 of my intestines. Had some weed on me. I think I had, 5 or 6 ounces of weed, and I don't want nobody to think that, I'm glamorizing this, but back home, this is what we looked up to.
Yeah.
We looked up to drug dealers, the fast life, the nice clothes, the gold chains, the nice shoes, the nice cars. You know, the guy who had 4 or 5 girlfriends on the side. I mean, that's what we looked up to, man.
Yeah.
Well, and so much of today's, popular culture revolves around that stuff.
Absolutely.
So, I mean,
Yeah, it's in the rap songs, the movies, everything.
right.
You know,
so I
and-
think it's good to kind of like get that message out there, like it's not fun. Like it's
No.
not, it's not something that you want to do.
There's a whole nother side of that you don't know nothing about until you experience it,
Right.
until you live it.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I can relate with you a lot there. I ran around on the north side of St. Louis quite a bit when I was younger, and it's hard. I mean, it's a scary life to live. It's not something that in the rap songs they make it sound so cool and like it's a good thing to do that. But that's why it's like I'm glad that you shared that here. So thank you for that. I mean, because it's good to get that message out there to let people know that it's not a game. Like they call it the game, but it ain't a game. It's your life.
Absolutely.
But
one good thing about when I was shot, I was high on PCP. And the doctor said that's what kept my heart going.
Oh,
To where
wow.
to where I didn't bleed out.
Wow.
From where I got shot at to where I actually live was about 7 blocks. And I ran with my cousin 7 blocks through Kensington Park.
With the bullet in you.
No, it went through me.
Oh, wow.
It went through my front, went out my back.
Wow.
I had 78 or 87 staples from here down to here. I mean, they opened me completely up. And I collapsed on my mom's front porch. My cousin went in and got my stepdad and my mom. I had a lot of stepdads, man. I mean, men was my mom's addiction. There was a couple that stayed. I got a lot of respect for one. I just recently found him on Facebook, and he stuck around for about 14 years, man.
Wow.
Wow.
And taught me a lot.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing what father figures will do,
Yeah.
And that is a problem in today's society is a lot of
Absolutely,
fathers
man.
don't stick around.
Absolutely. It's a lot easier to, ditch them.
Yeah.
Ditch them quick and
Yeah.
hard.
Yep. And then the kid, grows up without the father figure and doesn't know how to treat their kids. So now it's just a revolving door. It's just.
I was telling my story to somebody one time, and it kind of made me mad. But he said something that I really didn't care to hear at the time, but he had a valid point, Even though I was brought up in that environment, I still had a choice.
Yeah.
And I did. I had access to the same schooling as the kids that made something. I just choose not to do it.
Yeah.
Because I was basically obsessed with that lifestyle. That lifestyle looked cool to me.
Yeah.
Right.
And needless to say, man, I went down a long, dark road living that lifestyle.
So this was, 17, 18 you started into...
From the time I was 13 to the time I was probably 18, you got seeing a couple buddies get shot. I had a couple buddies that actually went to juvenile center, youth center of Atchison and Topeka for basically gun violence.
Wow.
Everybody carries guns down there.
Yeah.
Everybody's in a gang. And today I look back on that. All them guys' words were cowards.
Yep.
They didn't want to man up and duke it out, so they went and got a fucking gun. And I'm going to solve it quick to where I don't get my butt whipped or I don't get my head cracked.
Yeah.
Right.
But I didn't know that back then.
Yeah.
And young, dumb, and just full of ignorance, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was all in Kansas City, Kansas, and
Wyandotte County.
Wyandotte County. So
That's crazy.
then it progressed into...
Like I said, PCP. I don't know. I did that for a year or two, man, and that's a different high, man. That was
Like every day?
Oh, dude, I've done drugs or drink every day from the time I was 17 till I got stuck in drug court.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, when I was either all in or all out. There was no in between, man. That's
Yeah.
how I lived my life.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
And the crazy part is I'm lucky to be able to hold a conversation with anybody,
Absolutely.
at least an intelligent one.
Yeah.
Right.
Just because of the stuff the PTSD, the drugs. You want to talk about blessed, man? I'm blessed. I'm a miracle.
Right.
Anybody that gets off that stuff or gets out of that lifestyle is a work of God.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
it's amazing, man.
So I know now you're living here in Brookfield.
Yeah.
So what brought you here? And
You know, actually, like I just told you a little bit of my childhood. Then we take from like 19 to 25. You know, I wasn't employable basically because it was an everyday job to stay high or drunk.
yeah,
You know, I supported that habit by stealing, by selling drugs. You know, by any means necessary, whatever it would take.
Yeah.
You know, getting kicked in and out of my mom and dad, my stepdad's house, being in and out of the county. Somewhere in between, I figured I would try cocaine. You know, and
Hell of a drug.
no, I take that back. It was crack, because I would mix my crack with my weed. We'd call it primos.
Yeah.
You know,
What
and
you're talking about.
just, you know, and that's another thing. It's just shit we did because we was bored.
yeah,
You know,
Right.
I mean, we had nothing else to do, so why not get high?
Yeah.
Why not escape these bullets flying around? Why not escape this gang-infested violence? Why not escape all these murders that go on down there in the city every day? Why not escape that? We can't get a damn job because we can't pass a drug test.
yeah,
Right.
You know, so our main thing was escaping reality, escaping life. You know, and I don't know, man. I just rode that out. You know, then started doing cocaine and then started freebasing crack. You know, I mean,
Wow.
it slowly progressed. I don't know. You know, I think you know, I really went off the deep end when one day my grandma called.
You guys hear that? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother and sister's grandma called and said, Jimmy, where you at? And I said, I'm at Dollar General with Chrissy. And, you know, she's my wife now. And I said, why? What's going on? She told me I need to get home. And I said, oh, shit, you know. Because my brother and sister's grandma never really called me, you know, because
Yeah.
my mom wasn't with her son no more, so there was no relationship there. She stayed in contact with my brother and sisters. But I got home and there was like, God, dude, 40, 50 people in front of my mom's house, 2 or 3 fire trucks, you know, a couple ambulance, umpteen cops and detectives. My mom committed suicide.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know, man. You know, you want to talk about slow motion, you know, things just going slow right in front of your face. You know, I never forget that day I was in front of my mom's house and I was told that. Tried to rush in the house, you know, and they wouldn't let me in. Took a bunch of sleeping pills and turned the car on, let the car run while she slept, and suffocated herself.
Wow.
You know, but the weird thing is I held it together until I put her in the ground.
Really?
Wow.
Well, I mean, I still drink and smoke, but back then, you know, I mean, that was okay. Everybody drank and smoked.
Yeah.
I mean, you down in Kansas City, you could sit on your front porch and smoke weed. They didn't care. You know, they had other things to worry about.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's just saying that that's okay. You kill yourself so slowly but surely, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't know, you know, finally got the word on what's going on. They took her out of there, and I don't know, you know, I had to go in there and just basically start getting shit ready for the funeral, man. That's tough, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's tough. You know, here I'm 25 years old, my brother's 22, my sister's 19, and my youngest sister's 15, and she's in Beloit Girls Detention Center, which is in Beloit, Kansas. I might be 8-9 hours from Kansas City, Kansas, where he was at. So I got to make plans and make arrangements to get her out to be able to take her to the funeral and go pick her up, and you know, and start moving mom's stuff out. You know, go see the coroner, and man, it was a mess, dude. But
Wow.
it wasn't bad while everybody was there. You know, everybody once they left, dude, I was done. I was done, dude. I fell into a deep depression. I could never kill myself, just because I know what that felt like when she did it to me, you know, and so I never done it. I thought about it, but I never did it, and but I dove headfirst into hard drugs. You know, I started smoking crack a lot. I started snorting coke a lot. Got back on PCP. They got a saying, menace to society. That's basically what I was. I didn't care about nobody. I hated myself. I didn't give a shit about nobody, man.
So was it around this time that you started like using meth at all, or
no? I stayed down there in Kansas City probably a year after my mom passed away, and the girl I'm with, my wife, who is Chrissy, she said, "You got a choice. I can't stand back and watch you do this no more. You either go get help, or we move out of Kansas City." And I said, you know, maybe it's about that time, you know. So I went ahead and moved up here, you know, with my grandma and grandpa.
So that's how your grandma and grandpa lived up in Brookfield?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Came up here, got a job at Dura. She got a job at Life Care. And, you know, I started slowly but surely getting my shit back together.
Okay.
But see, one thing about us is we can spot us anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and I found the potheads quick.
Oh, yeah. Well, everywhere you go, there you are.
Yeah.
You know.
One thing I also brung up here, also brung that city mentality up here.
Yeah.
So there I was doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to go into some of the stuff I've done, just because, you know, basically I've already said how I lived down there. That's how I lived up here when I first, about 6 months after I came up here.
Yeah.
We got our own place, and it just continued, man. You know, the lifestyle, the same friends, just different town.
Yeah.
Then I started doing meth. Yep.
Wow.
I smoked at first.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I did it because I always heard, you don't want to do this. You know, this shit's bad for you. Me being who I am, an addict, it ain't gonna take me there.
Yeah.
Right.
I can control it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that lasted a couple months.
Yeah.
You know, and I maintained it, you know, here and there, but wow.
Well, it's kind of like the whole. Well, you didn't know? I'm James Gunn. I can control that.
Yeah,
like,
you know.
no problem with it.
And the thing is I mean, the same thing happened. You know, lost my job. Went full blast selling drugs. Made that my full-time job, because not only did I have to support my alcohol, my weed, now I got to support my meth habit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got to pay bills,
Right.
you know, because my wife can't do it. You know, she's pregnant, you know, and that poor lady, man, I should have lost her a long time ago, man.
I never realized you guys were together that long.
We've been together. My oldest boy, he'll be 20 here in a couple months.
Wow.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So then, what year did you move up this way?
My boy was born January 2nd, 1999. So we moved up here 1st of March of 99.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So then, whenever you were talking about your wife being pregnant, you're talking about with your oldest boy.
No, she was pregnant with Kayla then.
Okay. 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 Wow.
So you're progressed into meth, and you're here in Brookfield, and shit's going south, you know. And what got you into sobriety? What got you on the road of recovery?
Well, you know, it's kind of like any other drug. You know, it didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can manipulate anybody.
Yeah.
You know, even though all the bad stuff happened, I always manipulated her to believe it was going to be okay.
Yeah.
Once I got my foot back inside, you know, I hid it a little better for a little bit until, you know, it just got uncontrollable. And from the time I did meth until I got into sobriety was probably 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I went on a long run up here, man. You know, I thought Kansas City was bad. Boy, when I was introduced to meth, little did I know shit was going to be 10 times worse
things
than
get
anything
worse.
down in Kansas City.
Well, you
The
know,
only difference is here, there's not the violence that's here.
right.
But I brung the violence in my house because of my insanity.
Yeah.
The meth made all my nightmares come true.
Yeah.
The meth, all my insecurities, all my defective characters, it multiplied them.
Yeah.
You know, so I was a walking monster, man.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it was not a pleasant time to be around me when I was on that shit.
Yeah, if there's any drug out there that's Satan's drug, it's definitely meth. I mean, I used to have a bunch of tweakers and meth heads that, said the same thing.
Yeah.
This is the devil's drug, and it is, man.
Well, it changes just so much. I mean, but my question for you is this, like I remember whenever I first started coming around the tables at NA and AA, I remember you were one of the people that I saw, and I was like, wow, I really like what he's got to say. I really like, and at that point in time, I wasn't very serious about, recovery, and I'm pretty sure you and I have had that conversation before, but, I very clearly remember it, and something that kind of makes me wonder, well, how long have you been clean now?
I just celebrated 6 years, August the 27th. My sobriety's birthday is August 27th, 2012.
Congratulations.
Wow. Yeah, that's
man.
awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So
Thank
you'd
you.
probably been around the tables probably a year or two by the time I first started coming around, because it's been probably four, maybe 5 years ago.
I was actually around the tables 5.5 months. Then I relapsed, and I got sent to the county for 34 days over in Livingston County.
Right.
And then I did another 31-day treatment, and then I started my 6 years consecutively.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. But so my question for you is when did things start to get better for you? Because I remember whenever I came around, it seemed like you had your shit together. I mean,
Well, and that's just it. I can make you believe whatever I want you to.
Right.
I think when you first came around, things really wasn't that good. I was wanting them to be. I think when you first came around, I hadn't yet relapsed.
Right. Well, I was relapsing every day. So.
Yeah. And the thing about it is even them 5.5 months, there was spurts to where life was good, but I don't know. I think I pretty much would convince myself I didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
And I would self-destruct.
You'd sabotage yourself.
Because, dude, I got a lot of skeletons in my closet, dude.
Yeah.
I did some messed up shit in life, man, that I'm not proud to say, I did.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's the difference between being sober and being in sobriety.
Right.
Sobriety is, you work a program, you get them skeletons out.
Right.
Sober is just basically abstaining from using.
Yeah.
You start to recover from those skeletons.
Yeah,
that you had.
like I said, man, I'm a firm believer, man, that things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Right.
That first time in drug court, and let me go back, okay? Before I got stuck in drug court, I had went to my grandmother's house, where my wife now, and was staying with all the kids because we lost our kids because of my violence towards my wife. My basically choice of words. I mean, I was a monster, man.
Yeah.
And that stuff got reported. And
So DFS got involved?
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Best thing that ever happened to me, dude. I mean, I get it where people's coming from to where they don't like DFS being in their life. I get that. But I finally realized, that was a blessing, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
There's people out there that cared about my kids even when I didn't. And these are complete strangers, dude.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of respect for DFS.
Right.
It took me a while to admit that, but I do.
Yeah.
Right.
So my wife was over at my grandma and grandpa's with my kids. I went over there and cause she wouldn't take my phone calls, and hear these demons. Oh, she's cheating on you, seeing someone else. I kicked the door in, man. Went in there and raised ruckus, and it was bad, dude. And so my grandma and grandpa called the cops on me.
Wow.
Another blessing, best thing that ever happened to me.
At the time, I'm sure you had some,
Oh yeah, dude, I had
some
big time
resentments
resentments.
Oh, yeah.
traitors, you guys take her side over
Yeah,
mine.
right.
Yeah, I did, dude. I'm human. I did.
Yeah.
So basically, they let me sit over there in Livingston County Jail. I think I sat over there 2.5 months, and they finally gave me a choice to go to rehab. I don't know, what do you call that when you leave jail and go to rehab?
Furlough?
Furlough, yeah. They gave me a furlough, and so I went up there, and I had all good intentions, man.
Yeah.
And about a week later, that demon started talking. Those butterflies started flying in my stomach. The obsession to get high was full blast.
A week after treatment, or
A week after, I was in county for 2.5 months. They furloughed me to go to treatment, as basically the start of my punishment.
Yeah.
I go to treatment. If I successfully commit treatment, I can get out on probation.
yeah.
Well, that lasted a week.
That demon in white satin.
Yeah, it.
So you hadn't yet been in a treatment center yet?
I was in treatment for a week.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
So would you leave the treatment center?
Pack my stuff and walk
Wow.
from. This is the sickness of this disease.
Yeah.
I walked from Trenton to Chillicothe.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, dude. Hey, man, I'm glad I can
For
laugh
those of
at
you
it
that
now.
don't know, that's 20 miles.
Dude, that's like a 4.5-hour walk.
Yeah.
But
That's
I knew
if you're walking fast.
Yeah, I knew some. No, I think I got a ride to last 8 or 9 miles.
Yeah. Still, that's
That still
an 11,
took me
12-mile walk.
almost 4 hours to walk it, dude. And,
That's
yeah, it reminds you it's middle of summer too.
yeah.
Oh
Oh wow.
But I got a ride to Chillicothe and I got high, man. And then my public defender called me and said they put a warrant out for my arrest, and I said okay. Went on the run.
Went on the run.
I was on the run for about 2, almost 3 months, man.
So is this the point where I've heard stories about you wearing a wig
Yeah.
around town?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You need one now.
and that's the stuff. It's like these kids in school, man. They they're pressured to where, say me and you as kids in school. Hey, Dustin, your mom and dad pick on you all the time. They make you mad. They make you do chores. Let's go out tonight and get drunk. It's going to take away all your problems. And people buy that. These kids buy that when their friends tell them
Yeah.
that because they want to escape that.
Well, kids are so malleable. I mean, you can
But
you
they
can
don't
manipulate
understand.
them so much.
The flip side of that coin, man, dude, I'd rather put up with my mom and dad riding my butt than this mess I'm sitting here telling you
Yeah.
guys, man.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
Yep.
I mean, and that's sad. That's one of the biggest things I
And
hope we can
it takes
change.
years to figure out why they're riding your ass. I mean,
Because you weren't doing what you're supposed to.
exactly, and they care about you.
Well, and then
absolutely,
whenever
man.
you open that, that demon wrapped in white and satin, I mean, all drugs are demons wrapped in white satin. They look
Absolutely.
good from the outside. The people that are using them look cool. They got the money and they got the girl and then and plus they got this stuff that makes them feel good. Like, well, hell, why wouldn't you want to do it? Well, they don't see the demon that's below that white
Yeah.
satin. And that's kind of that's why your parents are riding you so hard, is because it's one of those things that you don't realize it until many years later. I mean, I know for me, I realized it and I was like, now it makes sense as to why they were telling me not to do this and not to do that, and me being me, me being the obstinate person that I am, like I'm going to do what I want to. You can't stop me, and I'm sure that it was the same with you, and I'm sure that it was the same with you,
Sounds like what you do to your sponsor nowadays.
Well, my sponsor's a dick,
And,
and his sponsor is an even bigger dick.
So okay, so you're walking. You now you're on the run.
Yeah.
Now, so how long did that last? I mean,
pretty close to
This is a
3
small
months.
town, man.
Yeah, and I stayed right here the whole time.
holy
Oh,
cow.
wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember the person I was staying with. I thought I was done that night, man. They came over there, had the house surrounded, and the person told them that I'm not letting you in, and they threatened to come back and take her kids, and she still wasn't gonna turn me in, dude.
Wow.
But I told her, I said, I can't let that happen. I'm gonna leave, and I went ahead and left, and and I was still on the run, man. And in that world, you have a lot of people that would do a lot of things for you when you get them high.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always had a place to stay.
Well, and it's not that they're bad people,
We're good. we're good people. We just make bad decisions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, we're not bad people trying to be good. We're just sick people trying to be well.
Absolutely.
You know? And so, okay, so you finally end up getting busted, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what'd they do? What?
Well, actually, I was at a buddy's house, and I had been staying there. And remind you, I wouldn't stay nowhere more than 2 days. You know, I think I had finally got comfortable, and I think I stayed there like 4 or 5 days, and you know, I ended up getting called. My partner in crime, you know, my wife, you know, she was there with me, man, and they come fucking banging on the door, and I waited them out, man. You know, whatever I had in my pocket, I did up, and you know, I wasn't gonna flush it.
Wow.
You know, I wasn't gonna throw it away. I did it. You know, and I went ahead and told him. I said, okay, you know, I'll come out. Just step away from the door, you know. And when Chrissy got ready to open the door, they came in and, you know, took her to jail for harboring a fugitive, and took me to jail for being on the run.
Wow. Did she get charged with that?
When I was sitting in county jail, she said that they was going to charge her, and I wrote a letter to the prosecuting attorney saying that basically, you know, I forced her not to open up the door, which in a way I did, you know. I told her, don't open up that damn door, you know. It basically gave her a guilt trip.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to take me to jail, you open up the door. So they did drop charges on her.
Okay,
you
good.
know, but I don't know, you know. You know, the things that we go through, you don't realize how much a blessing it was.
Yeah.
Because that night I got caught, ended up going back to the county. I think I was there for, a little over 3 months that time. And I think I got busted October, and they finally sent me to prison. Probation was off the table because I ran. I went and did a 120 down at Farmington Correction Center. You want to talk about a scary place? You know, that's kind of scary. I went to St. Joe for my diagnostics. I think I did 34 days in diagnostics. Woke us up at 3 a.m. You know, took us downstairs, shackled us up. Put me in the Farmington little holding cell. I was getting shipped out. There was a bunch of us in a little bitty van. I mean, we was in there like some sardines.
With the black box?
Yeah. Made it to Jeff City, and it was even worse. I mean, we was elbow to elbow in there. Wow. You know,
picked up more people at Jeff City?
Yeah, dude. You want to talk about funky? Man, that place stunk. Well, we finally, after we got settled out in Jeff City, they got us on a bigger bus, and the first stop was Potosi. Wow, boy, you want to talk about the hairs on your neck standing up.
Yeah.
Potosi gave me the creeps, dude.
Wow.
I mean, it was just, I don't know, you know, I don't know if that's because that's where the executions take place or what, but it's kind of scary, boys.
Yeah.
That's the only time I was scared. But stopped in Bonneterre, stopped in there for a couple hours, and then made it to Farmington.
Wow.
But, you know, here the weird thing is I've seen movies, I've heard horror stories, but, you know, once I finally got to prison, man, it was nowhere near the reality and the prison I lived right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The prison I lived here was awful.
Right.
I mean, it was bad.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, it was kind of a relief, you know, because me running from the cops was finally over. I can finally get off drugs. You know, maybe my wife and the kids can start rebuilding their life that I tore up. You know, so I was kind of at peace in there, man. It's crazy that I could say that, but I was.
Yeah.
So
you know.
So is that when you started getting clean?
Well, yeah, everybody gets clean in prison.
Well,
So it is crazy that you can feel more free
Yeah,
in prison.
absolutely,
you know, and
man.
that's why you build yourself a prison
Yeah.
around drugs. I mean, it's it's crazy. You
Yeah.
know, I felt the same way in prison. It was like you're in a box, but you're free. Your mind is free. You're free from cravings. You're free from all that.
Yeah, I never had none sitting in there.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I said, I ended up doing a 120-day treatment. I had some clarity when I was there, and I didn't want to come back here. Yeah, my demons were in Kansas City, but this is where hell was.
Yeah.
So I went back to KCRC, 17th and Campbell. I stayed there for like 5 months, and then I went and got out of there. Actually, weird thing is, man, I completed outpatient treatment at Free and Clean Center, the treatment center off Troost. Stayed clean the whole time I was in this halfway house, and I seen guys snort, shoot up, smoking in there. I just didn't want to be part of it.
I always hear them horror stories about it. Like,
and,
there's more drugs at the halfway house than there is anywhere.
There is, bro.
And that's
I promise
sad.
you that.
And
like after that, I went and stayed with my sister for 4 months. Had a little job. It was kind of a temp job, but I went to work every day. Life started getting okay, man. Started, getting myself some clothes. I gained some weight then, so I had nothing to fit me. Once things started getting good, I figured, why not move back up here?
Yeah.
Try to
At that time, had your wife got the kids back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, she had, but she hadn't got them full custody yet.
Okay.
And moved back up here, and still seeing my wife. Went over there a couple times and seen her, and I don't know. The second time, I felt like I was okay. That I could still hang out with my old friends and it'd be okay.
Yeah.
And I hung around the same exact people because I couldn't be there every time because because DFS had a no contact order. Because I hadn't completed my classes yet.
Yeah.
And she caught wind that I was hanging around these people, and I denied it. But yeah, I was getting high again, man.
Yeah. You hang out in the barbershop, you're gonna get a haircut.
Absolutely, and month went by. I dropped a dirty UA because I was on probation. They sent me up to Hannibal Counseling for treatment. I got out of there, got my foot back in the door over there with Chris and the kids, and go over there and see them a couple times, and and then go back to where I was staying at, and got high again. This time they sent me up to Kirksville.
So at this time, were you going to any meetings or no?
No, I didn't. Honestly, I'd heard of meetings, man, but other than that, I didn't know nothing about meetings.
Yeah.
I didn't know where they was held at. I didn't know nothing about them.
Yeah, people had told me, "Oh, that's just where you go. Everyone in there's high. They're all lying and blah blah blah." And dude, I've been in recovery a while now, and that's false, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And, but I never even heard that. But back to what I was saying is, after they released me from Kirksville, remind you, these are 2 treatment centers within 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me back out, and yet they have not sent me back yet.
Yeah.
And I relapsed again, dude. I was hopeless, guys.
Yeah.
I was the poster child for, a drug addict.
Yeah.
I was finally okay with knowing I was gonna die a drug addict.
Yeah.
I didn't like it, but I was at peace with it, man.
Yeah.
Relapsed again, and went up to Trenton, and they told me, we don't know what else to do with you, man. The only option we have is drug court. And I'm like, yeah, but that's gonna prolong me. I won't go to prison yet.
Yeah.
I'll at least be able to get high again, then I go to prison.
Yeah.
So this is 3 treatment centers in about 6 months. And,
Then you take drug court.
Then I took drug court, dude. And, I did what I was supposed to do in drug court. And, I don't know, a couple months into it, I was still obsessing, with my old friends. What was they doing? God, I had a real problem with not having contact with these people because I didn't want them to thinking I was better than them because I got clean, and I didn't want them thinking that, oh, he's goody two-shoe now, and I didn't want people thinking me like that, man.
Yeah.
Right.
But, that's what got me to relapse, man. But
that's insanity.
It is, dude. It is, bro. It is. And here's the thing, but then after that, when I was in drug court, I think I was in there about 5 months. Well, when I relapsed, they didn't do nothing about me relapsing for like a month. So I went to like 3 or 4 drug courts high. You know, and I finally just told Suzanne, I said, if you guys don't do something with me, I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
She said, okay, I'll talk to Judge and we'll get you somewhere. Next thing I know, it was me, 3 other guys. I wish I could say their name, but I'm going to respect their anonymity. But there was 3 other guys. There was 4 of us in Judge Raven's drug court, and all of us had relapsed. And them 3 got sent to prison, got kicked out of the program, and I got sent to the county. And I think that time I was in there 33 days.
Wow.
And had no clue what they was going to do to me. You know, Judge Raven didn't know. And then sitting in there, I got the call to come to drug court that they finally made a decision, and Judge Shannon was in there.
Wow.
And he asked me, he said, if I can get you one more chance, you think you can pull your shit together? And I said, absolutely. And he said, I'm going to make sure you go to treatment, and after that, they're going to try this again. And I went and did another 30-day treatment back in Trenton. And the weirdest thing happened, because when I was in the county, that last time, of all the times, I mean, I've been to county a lot, guys, here and back home, you know, and that was the only time when I sat up in the damn bed, and it was like the whole world, my whole life just flashed in front of me. And I remember telling myself, God, man, how in the hell did I get here again?
Yeah.
Because I had took different ways, I had, you know, tweaked it, turned it, not to end up there.
Right.
But there it is, I sat right there again. You know, and that last time was kind of tough, because that's when them guys in Chillicothe escaped. So we was on 23-hour day lockdown.
Yeah.
I had a lot of time to think.
Yeah.
You know, and I actually shared a cell with 2 other guys. So, I mean, there was no getting up out of bed, pacing the floor, none of that. And, I don't know, guys, I did a lot of praying in there, man.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I mean, and you know, you say you've been to county quite a bit. Well, I mean, if it hadn't been for those times before, I mean, you might not have at that time decided, you know, it's not for you, you know?
Well, you know, and one thing, I kind of get discouraged. Like, I see a person come to the meeting, and they do good for a while, and then they fall off.
Yeah.
They come back, they do good for a while, and they fall off. But I got to remember, it takes what it takes.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I have to be there.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what. You know, and
I heard someone say, if I could give you the gift of recovery, I wouldn't. And I'm sitting there thinking, what an asshole,
Yeah.
you know? And they're like, because I wouldn't rob you of the journey.
Absolutely.
And
You
that's
know?
everyone's got to make their own journey. Everybody's got to, you know, be ready.
you got to have your own bottom.
Yeah, your own
know?
bottom. you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So okay, so let's go over this. You're back in drug court. You get out of treatment or out of jail. Then you go to treatment. So since it was different in jail, was treatment different? Did you work on
dude.
yourself a little more?
Dude, I heard, I don't know, it was like my ears finally opened.
Yeah,
You know, I heard
Yeah.
a lot of stuff in there that it just, like, wow,
yeah,
no kidding. And I don't know, you know, I was on fire for my recovery, dude.
yeah, yeah.
I really was. I was ready, you know, and you know, like a lot of my problem was like not wanting to deal with my mom's suicide, you know, not wanting to deal with some of the PTSD I seen and lived through growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was better for me to block it out than have to, you
Deal
know,
with
sit
it.
up and tell somebody about this stuff,
Yeah.
you know. And main thing is I don't like telling nobody a lot of my story, because people think you're full of shit, because that don't go on in America.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it does, man,
does.
a lot more than
Yeah,
what you think.
you lived it.
You
Yeah.
know?
People
Yep.
people seem to be so naive about, you know, like, oh, that's not going on in my town.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was one thing I know that here a while back, and I don't think that the dream's actually been killed yet, but we're trying to set up a recovery house, and I mean, you know this, you know, we're about there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, we've been trying to set up a recovery house, and some of the you know, the lash back that we're getting is, you know, I don't want those people in my
Yeah.
town. Well, those people
Yeah.
are already in your town, and I think it'd be better if you put them in a recovery house.
That's
than-
the whole point of those podcasts,
know.
is to get people to understand, one, why you were doing the stuff you did, why maybe you used drugs when you were younger, and, you know, and help people that, in the community know what you were going through and why you did it. But
Right.
anyway, we're going to be running out of time here soon, so let's jump to, so you get through drug court. So drug court was what? I mean, for me, it was accountability and compassion. So
holding you responsible. Basically, you gotta find a job. You gotta take a drug test 3 times a week. You gotta do outpatient 3 times a week. You gotta go to 2 self-help groups a week.
so that's when you started getting into meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, and so did you get right into service work or no?
No.
Okay, so
it took me about 9 or 10 months to work some steps.
oh wow, okay.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about my past, man. I mean, my past kind of jacked up, man.
Yeah,
But I somewhere along the line, I realized I had to.
yeah,
In order to get better, I had to let some skeletons out of my closet. But an addict don't trust people. I got into the meetings and I found somebody I trusted.
yeah.
And I kind of opened up to them. And I didn't want them to judge me. But, then they said, that's all you did? Let me share some of the stuff I did.
Yeah.
And, I was like, man, that was awesome, dude. That's what I needed.
Yep.
Right.
I don't know, sponsor people, continue to work the steps, be of service to people, get back to the community, man. God, that is so important, guys. I mean, we tore this community up at one time, maybe not physically, but, emotionally and spiritually. Yeah, we caused a lot of damage here in Brookfield, man. One thing I realized is Brookfield's a pretty forgiving town.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They've really helped LC Row. They've donated money, time, places that I never thought would have us come speak has allowed us to.
Absolutely.
I really wished people with some sobriety time would really offer to help more than what they do.
Yeah.
We could really get this program off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get the fact that, people work, but I think people can do a lot more than what than they actually want to,
Yeah.
But that's okay. I know with us, it's a lot of the same people. And, like I said before, that's okay because at least it helps us.
Yeah.
It gives us another day to fight.
Right.
So, I mean, since you've been clean, just from what I've witnessed, since you've been my sponsor and my good friend, is you are Vice President of LC Row, you are one of the founders, you've been there since day one. I know we started out as like a drug court alumni group, and we were just going to get together and talk about how we're staying sober, and now it's turned into something completely different. And I mean, you go to schools and speak.
He was in the paper.
Yeah, great article in the paper. Your general service representative for AA 4 years running. I mean, for Brookfield AA. And you go down to area. You're doing a lot of things for the community, and that's it's just amazing to see somebody that was at that low, say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna give back. I'm gonna walk up and down Main Street when I'm not even on paper anymore. I don't need no community service, but I'm gonna grab a trash bag and I'm gonna pick up trash in this town.
Yeah.
And pick up the trash, at the meetings too, and help them out.
It makes me feel good, man.
Well,
Yeah.
it's real cool of you, that you're like, I've been through some shit, I want to go talk to these kids and let them know maybe some of the shit that I've been through, so that way they ain't got to go through some of the same stuff that I've been through.
Yeah.
That's real cool, man. Honestly, I'm real glad to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to be here, man.
Yeah.
It's an honor, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what we got coming up for LC Row. I think we got like 7 minutes. So we just got done with our 5K. I believe that's going to be an annual 5K. It might be different venue. We might change it to Brookfield. We did it in Laclede this last time, and it was a great course, and it good turnout. But I think Brookfield's got some better roads to run on,
Yeah.
So maybe we'll try to push for that to be about the same time of year, but in Brookfield.
Yeah.
So if we do that, everybody come out and support. If you just
Absolutely.
want to walk it, that's fine. But you're walking for the still suffering addict. That's what I told myself while I was running. I'm running for every addict out there to find recovery.
Yeah.
And it pushed me through.
Well, and not only that, but even if you don't walk or run it, I mean, you could still help.
work it.
Yeah, still help. Fill the water cups on the water stands. Kind of be somebody to direct traffic and some other stuff like that.
Yep.
Because this disease, it's a community disease.
Yeah.
It's kind of like your home life. One person uses, but everybody suffers.
Yep.
Yep.
So in order for people to get better and to stay on the right track, people have to help them to stay on that right track.
Yeah.
It's easy to do it when you're at the tables for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you leave them rooms for an hour, after that hour, the real test begins.
Yeah.
Are you making yourself available outside of them rooms? Are you really answering your phone when these people call you? Or are you really carrying the message of recovery? Or are you just saying you are and not doing nothing after them meetings?
Yep. Are
Well-
you giving back what was so freely given
Absolutely.
to you?
And everybody knows that I'm not the most accessible person, but I mean,
You still give a lot
I
to
still
the community,
try.
man.
Still try.
Yeah.
Still try. But something else that we here at LCRO do, we have these bracelets for sale right now. They say Linn County Recovery Outreach with our little emblem, the butterfly. It's kind of the cocoon that releases back into life. We've got these for sale. I think they're $3, $2,
$2 a piece.
$2 a piece. So I mean,
And all proceeds go to LCRO. They
yeah.
fund us for going to the schools. They fund one big one that we got coming up is the Crossfire Christmas.
yeah,
Again,
that's coming up.
last year was awesome, man.
Yeah.
We put that on for the
Foster children in Linn County. It kind of helps give them maybe something that they weren't expecting.
Well, see, and with that, a lot of addicts and alcoholics have lost their kids to
absolutely.
foster homes, and we just kind of get back to them foster homes, man, because without them foster families, where would our kids have went?
Well, that's like you said, man. There was
They're
people
caught in the
that didn't
crossfire.
even know you that were willing to take care of your kids,
Absolutely.
and I hope for every parent that gets their kids taken away that they find recovery and they get their kids back and that they raise their kids right and teach their kids. I went through this. Please don't go through it.
Right. Well, and that's the reason it's called Crossfire Christmas is because it's the kids that are caught in the crossfire.
Absolutely.
At no fault of their own.
Yeah, right. No fault of their own. I mean, and that's why it's something that I feel is one of our bigger events is because we all have kids. All three of us have kids, and they were caught in the crossfire, and luckily we still have those kids, and but there are kids out there that the families don't have them anymore, and those are the kids that you see in foster care, and
So if anybody is looking to sponsor a foster care family or a kid or just help out with the event, we're not going to post the date that it is until right up to it. Just, keep it anonymous, but if you want to sponsor a kid or donate for the Crossfire Christmas, you can go to First Missouri Bank and just tell them you'd like to donate to Linn County Recovery Outreach or join us on Facebook. And just join us on Facebook anyway, people, so you can see what we're doing, what's going on, and there's inspirational stuff that everybody posts. I mean, it's a great group. And then get in touch with one of the admin and ask how you can help.
Yeah, and hit that like button over there or over there or
whatever side it's on.
Yeah.
wherever it's at. But hit it up. Let's get this out there.
Well, James, man, you've got an amazing story, dude, and
Absolutely.
It's amazing to see where you came from and what you're doing now. I mean, I know we didn't have much time to go over what you're doing now, but I've seen nothing but amazing stuff, man. So I hope anybody that's watching this sees that and maybe gives you a break on what went on earlier, and now understands a little bit more about you.
And I mean, personally, I'd like to thank you, because I know that I don't say this enough. I mean, I've known you for quite some time now, and there's quite a bit that came out today that I didn't know, But personally, I'd like to thank you, for one, for being here, and two, because if it wasn't for you, my sponsor wouldn't have a sponsor, and then I wouldn't have a sponsor. So I mean, You're who I like to call Pappy.
You can see the trickle down effect.
Yeah.
I'll be your pappy boy.
Well, they say shit rolls downhill, and boy, did it roll downhill.
Yeah. That's a good thing about, recovery, man. I mean, just being there for somebody, man.
Yeah.
Letting that person know it's going to be okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Telling that person to hold your head up, man. It's all right.
Yep.
Right.
It's okay that you cry. It's okay that, your ass is falling off. That's okay.
Right.
Life gets better.
Yep.
Yeah.
It does get better.
If you don't have somebody that you've seen change your life, then how are you going to believe what they're telling you?
Absolutely.
And that's the main thing.
Absolutely.
All right, we've
Well,
got a few
James,
seconds, so we better sign off.
James, you just
See you
keep
guys.
putting that right foot forward, and thanks for being here. You guys take her easy. Hit the like button.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop.